Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's tutorial we're going to work on a little bit of core strengthening and a yoga back bend, a couple of yoga back bends, and then resting into a nice restorative posture. So we're going to start onto our back, so grab something underneath your head if you need it, like a hand towel or a little cushion underneath your head. We don't want anything too big or too small, we just want like just right, the Goldilocks effect. So you want to make sure that the forehead and chin are in line, and that you're resting in a comfortable position as we start, constructive rest position. If you want to rest your legs over the bolster, if you've got a bolster or cushions at home, then feel free to do that. Otherwise, just bending the knees, placing the knees together or apart, whatever feels right for you. Hands to the belly or palms facing up, arms alongside the body. And just starting to rest the body into this pose. Breathing nice and deeply. Sensing the heaviness of the whole body as we really let go in this pose. Letting go of any stresses, anxieties that have been coming up perhaps today. Any worries about the future, just letting that go. Drawing your attention into the present moment, the weight of the body in the floor. Flow of the breath in through the nostrils, out through the nostrils. As we settle the body before the practice and get centered. So, gently opening the eyes and bringing the feet hip distance apart. So making sure you've got the feet, knees, hips in line with those front two hip bones here. And the feet about a foot to a foot and a half away from the bum. And we're going to establish our neutral spine, so we've got a little bit of space underneath the lumbar here. But obviously not too much, just a little bit of space, maybe for a hand to slide down underneath. And we're just going to take a breath in and exhale. We're going to, keeping the pelvis stable and the upper body stable and relaxed, just going to lift the left foot off the floor, literally just a millimetre, like really, really low. I say millimetre because if you say an inch, people go quite high with the foot. Really keep it nice and low and feel that the work is happening here in the tummy. And then just placing the foot down. Good, taking a breath in. Exhale, lifting the right foot. Again, just a little bit off the floor, feeling we're hinging at the hip, not the knee, and that the pelvis is staying stable. So you'll know if you're doing this right, if you can keep the stability in the pelvis all the way through. Placing that foot down without moving the pelvis too much. The body stays nice and stable. And then we're just going to do one more on either side. So lifting the left foot. Placing it down with care. And then the right foot. It's kind of as if you've got an egg underneath the foot that you're trying not to crush by placing the foot too heavily down. Really placing it nice and gently down onto the floor, keeping everything stable. Good, we're going to continue the exercise. This time we're going to hinge at the hip. We're going to continue what we're doing, just lifting the leg a little bit higher. So we're going to float the leg all the way up with the knee above the hip, coming into like a right angle position. We're going to flex that foot. And then on the next exhale, we're going to float this leg down. Again, hinging at the hip, keeping the knee relatively still, so we're not bending too much at the knee. Placing that foot down again as if we've got an egg underneath the foot that we're trying not to squish. Keeping the pelvis nice and stable. Good. Take a breath in and exhale, right leg. We're going to lift the hip nice and slowly, keep it really slow, coming up to a 90-degree angle. We've got the leg flexing that foot. Got the leg, the lower leg parallel to the floor. Take a breath in, exhale, we're going to hinge at the hip, lowering down, really slowly, feeling the work happening in the tummy, placing that foot back down. You can continue side to side, or if you want to advance it, but I'd say really for lower back people with lower back issues, keep both feet on the floor, keep one foot on the floor at a time. So continuing with this exercise. And then those who feel they are happier, kind of in the lower back, can glue the knees and feet together and lift both legs at the same time. But like I said, this is quite a strong version for those lower back problems. So I'd say keeping one foot on the floor at a time is a better option for you. So continuing that side to side, feeling a core stability working really strongly here. So we're engaging the pelvic floor as we do so, building a really strong, stable core for the whole body. Great foundation for daily movement. You know, building a strong core is really the starting point for maintaining health in the spine, health and mobility. Great, and just relaxing there for a moment. Just breathing into the belly, maybe hugging one knee into the chest and the other knee into the chest. Maybe rocking side to side. And if you want, you can place one hand on one knee, one hand on the other knee. And inhale, rotate the knees into the chest. Exhale, taking them away, so circling into the hips. Good, and then take it the other way. Again, inhale as we're coming in, exhale as we're going the other way. Starting to lubricate into the hip joints and loosen up any tension there. Good, just tugging the knees in. And then we're going to roll over onto our side, push one hand in the floor and really push ourselves up really safely here. So we're coming up and respecting the spine as we do so. So coming to lie onto the belly, and you might want a hand towel here. So if you've got a little hand towel for underneath the belly, it could be really useful for those with lower back issues. So lying onto your front and popping the hand towel at whatever level feels appropriate underneath like the pelvis and the belly. So you've got a little bit more support there. Because what happens for a lot of us is this overarching that happens in the spine. It can be quite a vulnerable area for those of us with back pain. So by popping a little bit of support underneath the tummy or pelvis, wherever feels appropriate, you can ease that curvature in the spine a little bit. So we want the elbows underneath the shoulders, hands resting and spreading the fingers and thumbs into the floor, and the tops of the feet are going to push into the floor. So we want to keep the tops of the feet grounded into the floor and engage the thighs. Slightly tuck the pelvis under to lengthen the lower back. And just starting in Sphinx pose, so a basic kind of yoga back bend, where we've got the shoulders back, chest open, really drawing the chest forward, feeling that opening in the chest. Legs actively grounding into the floor. And just breathing into that pose. Closing the eyes, softening the body. And hopefully we're feeling a back bend in the upper part of the spine as we're drawing the chest forward, shoulders back. And then if you want to advance it, you can take the hands a little bit wider, and as we push the hands into the floor, we're going to lift the elbows. Like I said, this might not be for everyone, so just listen to the body. And then as you come down, you're splaying the elbows, bring the body forward, not all the way to the floor, just a hover, and then coming back up. And you can do that a few times. Coordinating with the breath. And then make the next one your last one. And then maybe stay up in your cobra position, rolling the shoulders back. Just getting a little back bend there. If this feels too much for the lower back, please come down to your Sphinx pose again. Otherwise, holding it there, really allowing the chest to come forward as the shoulders come back. And feeling a really nice stretch for the spine. And then lowering forward, just allowing the body to come forward. You can either rest here with the hands underneath the forehead, or you can have the head to one side and then swap sides. And you can just relax here. So this is a really nice restorative pose to lie on our front, because it encourages us to breathe into the belly. And then when you're ready, just sitting back into child pose and resting in child pose. Again, you can use the head cushion for a little support underneath the head if you need a little bit of support. You can come up a little higher.
So thank you very much for joining me today for this tutorial. Do join me tomorrow for the last one in the series. I'd love to hear from you if you've got any comments or questions for me. Do pop a comment in the comments box or message me, email me. I'd love to hear from you. And do check out my summer course for back pain this summer in Fulham and St Margaret's near Twickenham. All the details are on my website at yogalateslondon.com/summer-course. You can also find it in the classes section of my website. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care, guys.